Imagine a city where every building breathes with gears, every street hums with forgotten power. Not just empty streets, but arteries of a living mechanism long abandoned. A city frozen mid-motion, yet strangely alive in its stillness. The explorer steps cautiously onto a cracked stone bridge. Water flows silently through long-forgotten canals, reflecting the skeletal towers above. The towers stretch into the sky, crowned with intricate metal spires, their bronze and copper surfaces catching the weak light like fading stars. Rust creeps along their edges. Her lantern flickers as she moves forward, casting a trembling cone of light along the cold stone. Shadows stretch, curl, and twist with a life of their own. The silence presses in, heavy and dense, filled with faint, almost imperceptible hums of distant mechanisms, a ghostly echo of a city still remembering its pulse. The archway ahead dominates the view, massive and engraved with spiraling symbols that shimmer faintly, as if the city itself is aware of her presence. Her fingers brush the cold metal. A pulse shivers through the air. Not warmth, not electricity, but something older, deeper, like the memory of hands long gone. Imagine, she whispers, voice barely carrying, that beneath all of this, a civilization of unparalleled ingenuity once thrived, and now only echoes remain. Gigantic gears interlock in frozen stasis, each one larger than a city block. Tiny carvings decorate the teeth. Human figures, animals, celestial bodies. Some bear faces, almost as if the builders have etched their own likeness into the very machinery of their world. Others are engraved with impossible diagrams, circuits of metal that suggest knowledge of forces and movements beyond comprehension. The streets themselves are mechanisms. Paving stones rise and fall slightly, as if they once shifted to guide travelers. Brass rails embedded in the ground wind through the city like veins, some ending abruptly in broken conduits, others curving into sealed gates. The explorer pauses, running her hand over a street panel. It vibrates faintly, as if alive, then falls still. From the shadows, a distant metallic whisper rises. Not wind, not animal. The soft clinking of something observing, moving in rhythm with a pulse the city still keeps. What secrets are buried here? She asks softly. What could have made an entire civilization rise to such heights and vanish without a trace? Venturing further, the explorer enters a massive inner plaza. The scale is almost incomprehensible. Towers and walkways rise in impossible angles, connected by bridges of brass and copper. The air feels denser, charged, as if each breath carries static from forgotten energy. At the center stands a colossal automaton, bronze limbs frozen mid-motion, hands outstretched as if reaching for something unseen. Its body gleams faintly where the light hits, etched with engravings hinting at rituals, storytelling, and artistry beyond ordinary engineering. Springs coil within like slumbering serpents. Pistons are aligned in perfect order, and gears interlock with precision that seems divine. The explorer kneels to examine one foot. Tiny symbols cover the surface, stars, spirals of mathematical patterns, shapes that almost move when stared at too long. A faint chill brushes her skin. The city feels aware, remembering. Smaller automatons are scattered in the plaza. Children at play, animals frozen mid-leap, vendors tending brass stalls. It is a frozen scene of daily life, yet unnervingly silent. She steps lightly. The echoes of her footsteps mingle with faint mechanical murmurs that seem responsive. The internal workings are imagined. Pistons pumping, gears spinning, valves opening and closing rhythmically. A soft hum fills the plaza. Light glows along brass bridges. Fountains of molten silver cool into lattices. Bridges rise and fall with living grace. This city was not merely built, it was orchestrated, the narrator whispers. Every automaton, every bridge, every gear worked in unison. The city itself was alive, a testament to a civilization that understood both art and engineering at a level we can barely comprehend today. The camera pans across the city's edge, twisting streets, arches reaching impossible heights, every building carved with purpose and elegance. Even in decay, the artistry speaks. Gears are not just functional, they are frozen poetry, waiting for a reader who will never come. As the explorer moves through narrow corridors, traces of life appear. A small metallic figurine rests atop a shattered pedestal. Walls are etched with delicate engravings of creatures and landscapes. Polished gears lie in spirals, almost ceremonial. Her footsteps echo faintly, but other sounds rise, a mechanical whisper from the shadows. Not threatening, only curious, as if the city itself is observing her intrusion. She pauses before a massive gear, tracing intricate carvings. Perhaps, she murmurs, they were more than engineers, perhaps artists, philosophers, guardians of knowledge. In a hall lined with bronze statues, patterns emerge. Automatons frozen mid-task, arranged in a grand performance. Could they have been sentient? A master clockmaker guiding them? The camera captures intimate details. A dining table frozen with engraved silverware. A ceremonial dais now draped in shadow. The city feels intimate, as if it remembers its inhabitants. Vines creep through cracks in the walls. Rust stains form patterns across the floors. Tiny animals scurry across metal tiles, the first signs of life in a city that has long forgotten its people. She stops at a central fountain, dry, but engraved with mythical creatures dancing in synchronization with a long-dead heartbeat. She imagines the city alive, automatons moving, streets shifting, gears turning in orchestrated rhythm. A mechanical symphony hums faintly, an echo of life long gone. And yet, she whispers, voice catching, they are gone. All of this, abandoned. A distant clatter breaks the silence. Somewhere, deep in shadowed archways, a gear turns, almost imperceptibly. The city exhales a whisper of metal and air, a reminder that it remembers. The explorer ascends a narrow staircase of interlocked gears, leading to the city's central tower. Each step creaks under her weight, sending echoes through the hollow metal veins. Sunlight filters through broken skylights, illuminating dust motes, dancing like tiny specters. She pauses at an observation deck. From here, the city stretches endlessly. Rooftops twist like clockwork. Bridges rise and fall. Massive towers pierce clouds. Rust and moss have claimed the lower streets. Silent. Watching. Her heartbeat quickening. But the upper structures gleam faintly, untouched by time. Everywhere she looks, the traces of a vanished civilization appear. Bridges designed with impossible geometry. Water channels that seem to flow without source. Mechanisms that hint at forgotten purpose. The city is a puzzle. Each gear a letter. Each automaton a word. A language waiting to be read. A soft metallic sigh passes through the tower. The explorer shivers. Somewhere deep within, a mechanism stirs. Not threatening, just aware. A presence, not human, yet conscious. She steps back, realizing the journey has only just begun. Every shadow seems alive. Every gear tells a story. The city waits, watching, remembering. Dot. The explorer descends a narrow spiral staircase of interlocking bronze cogs, each step echoing deep into the shadowed shafts below. The air grows colder, heavier, carrying the faint scent of oil, rust, and something almost metallically sweet, like a memory of machinery long silent. At the bottom, she steps into a vast labyrinth of hallways, each lined with machinery that seems to pulse faintly in the darkness. Pistons rise and fall, but never complete a cycle. Springs coil, as if waiting to snap to life. The sound of water dripping from a corroded pipe echoes in rhythm with the soft creaks of distant gears. Every corridor twists unpredictably, as if the city itself wants to mislead her. Some passages lead to dead ends, where walls of engraved metal rise like silent sentinels, depicting abstract patterns that suggest unknown rituals, constellations, or mechanical prayers. From the shadows, a metallic scrape, soft, deliberate. She freezes, heart racing. The sound repeats, closer now. Not a machine malfunction. Something moves with intention. In a large chamber, Dozens of smaller automatons are frozen in positions that mimic daily life. A child reaching for a toy, a bird mid-flight, a smith hammering at an invisible forge. She notices one automaton, a figure barely the size of a cat, tilt its head slightly. A shadow moves across its etched face. The metal eye, crafted with delicate precision, seems to catch her lantern light and hold it. For a heartbeat, she feels observed, not by a machine, but by an intelligence. The city, it watches, she whispers. Her voice is swallowed by the echoing metal halls. Each automaton, though motionless, appears purposeful. The more she studies them, the more she sees patterns. Sequences of movement frozen in time. Perhaps a code or a message left by their creators. Symbols etched into gears near each automaton suggest ritualistic significance. Numbers, stars, abstract shapes that almost feel alive. A soft, almost musical hum rises from the walls. Gears vibrate faintly, and the air carries a whisper of movement, like a distant heartbeat. The explorer steps carefully, realizing that even in stillness, the city reacts to her presence. Deeper into the labyrinth, she discovers a colossal mechanism dominating an entire hall. A giant, wheel-like structure, hundreds of feet in diameter, etched with complex diagrams. Brass arms extend outward, some ending in smaller automatons, others in intricate devices of unknown purpose. She traces a finger along the diagrams, trying to decipher their logic. Valves, cogs, and tiny pistons are interconnected in ways she cannot fully comprehend. A faint pulse of energy seems to flow along the metal veins of the hall, like a river of thought. The narration explains, these machines are not just functional. They represent a level of engineering far beyond anything known, blending art, ritual, and physics. Some devices could harness natural energy. Others appear designed for precision tasks that defy current science. She imagines them alive, the wheel rotating slowly, automatons moving in perfect sequence, lights flickering in harmony with unseen cycles. The city would have been a living organism, every part synchronized, every motion purposeful. As she explores further, fragments of life emerge. A broken bronze instrument lies on the floor, gears arranged as if forming a musical scale. Tiny metallic tokens are scattered, perhaps used as currency, markers, or ritual objects. Wall engravings depict scenes of communal life, celebrations, and ceremonies where machines and humans interacted seamlessly. One symbol recurs, a master clockmaker standing atop a platform, arms extended, guiding automatons in a dance of motion and purpose. Could this figure have been the city's architect, its mind, or its guardian? The explorer pauses, feeling an almost reverent silence around her. The city is more than machines. It is a record of civilization, frozen in metal and shadow. And yet, some areas remain curiously untouched by decay, suggesting selective preservation or deliberate concealment. From somewhere deep within, a soft metallic whisper begins to echo, growing faintly louder as she moves. Not words, but a rhythm. The sound of a system attempting to reminder of its former function. She follows it to a small chamber where a single gear turns slowly. It is delicate, almost fragile, yet impossible to ignore. Around it, engravings depict the passage of time, days, seasons, celestial movements, all frozen, yet still flowing in pattern. The whisper grows more distinct. A pattern emerges, almost musical. She listens intently, heart pounding, feeling the city's presence coiling around her like a living thing. For a moment, she wonders, are the automatons sentient? Is the city aware of her intrusion? The answer is ever clear, only implied. Through a narrow gap in the hall, she discovers a hidden passageway, almost invisible behind a series of interlocked cogs. It leads downward, spiraling into the very heart of the city. A faint hum vibrates through the walls. An energy source, dormant but not dead. The air grows warmer, metallic, charged with anticipation. Here, she senses the city's secrets more strongly than anywhere above. At the bottom, a sealed door of bronze and steel stands before her, engraved with symbols, gears, and tiny automatons. It radiates power and purpose. She can feel it. Beyond this door lies the heart of the city, the core of its machinery, its mind. The narrator whispers, what secrets lie beyond the door? What might awaken if it opens? And are we ever truly ready to understand the genius or the danger of the Clockwork City? The hidden passage leads her to a vast underground chamber. A cathedral of bronze and steel. Pillars stretch impossibly high, carved with intricate patterns of gears, springs, and celestial symbols. The air vibrates faintly, as if the walls themselves are alive with the memory of movement. At the center, a colossal mechanism dominates the hall, a rotating lattice of interlocked cogs, some larger than houses, their surfaces etched with unknown equations and strange, flowing symbols. Small automatons are positioned around it, frozen mid-action as if performing a ritual. The explorer steps carefully, noticing a soft vibration through the floorboards. Each step seems to echo, not just physically, but through time itself, resonating with a rhythm older than human memory. She whispers, "This is the heart of the city. Everything else is built around it." The camera pans slowly across the lattice. Tiny, almost imperceptible movements begin. A cog shifts slightly. A spring unwinds fractionally. The city is remembering, preparing, responding to her presence. She observes the automatons in greater detail. Their gestures are precise, almost ceremonial. Hands extended, heads bowed, tools suspended in mid-air. The engravings on their bodies suggest sequences, instructions, or prayers, patterns repeated over and over, perhaps generations of mechanical devotion. A faint metallic chant seems to echo through the chamber, though there is no voice. Only the rhythm of moving gears, the creak of pistons, the soft click of interlocking teeth. The explorer feels a shiver down her spine. Were these beings performing some sacred task? Or is this just a memory of what once was? The floor beneath her hums. The latticed cogs rotate fractionally, almost imperceptibly. She realizes the city itself is not dead. It waits, silent but aware, a living memory of its creator's ambition. Engravings on a central pillar depict a figure, tall, commanding, arms extended over automatons, orchestrating their movements. The master clockmaker, perhaps the city's architect, or its consciousness itself. She notices a series of brass tablets, each inscribed with abstract symbols and tiny diagrams. They resemble instructions, blueprints, or perhaps diaries. Some depict events, celebrations, construction, the activation of machines. But others are more cryptic. Sequences of gears, spirals, and enigmatic symbols suggesting forces or energies unknown. The explorer kneels, tracing the symbols. Her finger trembles as she follows one pattern that seems to spiral infinitely into itself. A soft vibration runs through her hand. The city hums, as if acknowledging her touch. Did they intend for someone to find this? She whispers. Or is it a trap? A test left by the clockmaker? From the corners of the chamber, shadows shift. Not random. They mimic the shapes of automatons, then dissolve into darkness. The metallic whisper grows louder, more structured. It seems almost conversational. A rhythm, a language, a beckoning. The explorer feels watched. Her lantern flickers, casting long, quivering shadows across the walls. Gears overhead twist slowly, reflecting light in eerie patterns. Something moves just out of sight, always at the edge of vision. A tiny figure, humanoid in shape, constructed entirely of brass and copper, observing her. A low click resonates. She freezes. The figure tilts its head, as if studying her. Her heartbeat races. She knows she is not alone. Deeper into the labyrinth, she finds a chamber sealed by enormous interlocking gears. Symbols on the door glow faintly, as if responding to her presence. The mechanism is far too complex for her to open manually. She examines the surrounding walls. Engravings suggest a process, a sequence to activate the gears. Following the symbols, she aligns smaller cogs and levers, her movements mirrored by the soft hum of the city. The door slowly creaks open, revealing a smaller inner sanctum. Within, the air is warmer, charged with energy. At its center is a mechanical sphere, rotating with perfect precision. Tiny automatons orbit it, their movements synchronized, almost like planets around a sun. This must be the core, she whispers. The mind of the Clockwork City itself. As she steps closer to the core, the metallic whispers grow into a soft, harmonious vibration. She feels memories, not her own, brushing her mind. Fleeting images of construction, celebration, instruction, and ceremony. The city's voice is subtle, not words, but impressions. A memory encoded in motion and sound. She realizes this city was more than buildings and machines. It was a living archive, a repository of thought, art, and consciousness. The automatons, the gears, the lattice work, all part of a system designed to preserve existence itself. And yet, there is tension, a subtle unease. Standing at the edge of the core chamber, she feels a weight pressing in. Not physical, but mental. The city has revealed wonders, secrets, and enigmas, but it has also warned her. The labyrinth behind her seems smaller now, less threatening. The path forward, deeper into the city's heart, is a threshold she hesitates to cross. Gears shift subtly beneath her feet. Shadows dance across the walls. A city seems alive, but its intent is unclear. Her lantern flickers, casting long shapes on the walls. Automaton shadows that seem to bow, extend hands, or point toward hidden passages. Every direction feels both inviting and dangerous. A narrator's voice softens. Some doors were not meant to be opened. Some mechanisms not meant to be touched. Yet the Clockwork City beckons, patient and watchful, revealing only what it chooses and hiding the rest. Stepping into the innermost sanctum, the explorer feels an almost tangible pulse. The mechanical sphere at the center rotates slowly, its surface engraved with spiraling symbols, delicate patterns, and tiny automatons seemingly dancing across its exterior. As she moves closer, the sphere emits a soft hum that resonates through her chest. She reaches out, fingertips brushing the cold, polished bronze. A shiver runs down her spine. Not fear, but awe. Every movement, every vibration feels purposeful, intentional. "This is the city's heart," she whispers. "Every gear, every automaton, every sound flows from here." Around her, smaller automatons. She examines engravings on the chamber walls. Scenes of daily life, construction, rituals, and instruction unfold before her eyes. Humans and automatons coexist in harmony. Children play with mechanical companions. Artisans craft intricate devices. Celebrations unfold with a precision that suggests not only engineering skill, but a deep cultural connection to the mechanisms around them. Among these, a sequence of engravings tells a darker tale. Fires, collapsing structures, traces of a vanished civilization. Each mark in the stone speaks of a legacy that humanity once held, now preserved only in these encoded traces. Automatons abandoned mid-task, signs of distress. The city's creators, it seems, were aware of limits. Perhaps their machines, their genius, outpaced them. "Dot!" She steps closer to a set of brass tablets near the sphere, etched with diagrams and cryptic symbols. Following a pattern with her finger, she senses the rhythm of thought behind it. Knowledge, artistry, ritual, everything encoded in motion and design. "The city wasn't just abandoned," she murmurs. "It preserved itself, and its people disappeared, leaving only their echo." The core begins to hum more strongly, responding to her presence. The smaller, orbiting automatons shift subtly, their movements precise, almost lifelike. The sphere pulses with an energy that suggests awareness, a living memory of the civilization that created it. She watches in awe as the automatons reenact a ceremonial sequence, frozen centuries ago, yet flowing as if the city itself remembers the past perfectly. The metallic whispers coalesce into rhythm, a song of memory without words, conveying the rise, the mastery, and the eventual fall of the Clockwork City. Her lantern casts flickering light across the chamber. Shadows of automatons bow and stretch, creating a dance that blurs the line between machine and spirit. In a distant corridor, she discovers more engravings hinting at the city's final act. Symbols depict massive gears halting, energy flows collapsing, automatons ceasing motion. Some suggest intentional concealment or evacuation. Perhaps the creators sought to protect their knowledge or themselves from some unforeseen catastrophe. The explorer steps back, absorbing the enormity of it all. The sea is both genius and enigma. Its mechanisms preserved its memory, yet the living beings who animated it are gone. Was it a natural collapse, a deliberate act, or something else entirely? The metallic whisper rises again, soft, insistent, urging her to understand without revealing everything. The sea remembers, but only partially, leaving questions that may never be answered. The explorer approaches a massive gateway, adorned with interlocking gears and cryptic symbols, beyond which she feels a faint warmth, an energy, almost a heartbeat. She hesitates, sensing that crossing this threshold may reveal truths the city does not intend to share. A subtle movement catches her eye. One automaton, small, humanoid, entirely brass, tilts its head toward her, then steps aside as if granting permission. She breathes deeply, the weight of centuries pressing around her, aware that the city's heart beats beneath her feet. The narrator whispers, "Some doors reveal knowledge, some awaken mysteries." The Clockwork City has waited for centuries for someone who dares to witness its memory. And yet, it holds secrets that not even time itself can fully explain. Standing at the threshold, the explorer reflects on the journey. She has seen a civilization of unparalleled genius, their art, engineering, and culture preserved in bronze, steel, and whispered memories. The city is alive, not in the way humans are, but in the continuity of its mechanisms, the precision of its design, and the echoes of its creators. She whispers softly, "What can we learn from a civilization that vanished, yet left behind perfection in motion?" What do we do with knowledge so far beyond our understanding? The camera pans outward, showing the labyrinthine city from above, gears massive and silent, ridges twisting impossibly, automatons frozen yet eternal. Nature weaves through it all, moss and ivy blending with bronze, a reminder that even genius is temporary. As she turns to leave, a faint hum rises again, soft, almost like a heartbeat. Somewhere deep, a gear shifts, a spring unwinds fractionally. The city is alive, remembering, waiting. She pauses, sensing a presence not entirely mechanical, something that feels aware. The explorer walks into the shadows of the labyrinth, lantern flickering. Behind her, the city exhales softly, a final whisper that trails into silence. Somewhere beyond the bronze and gears, secrets linger, waiting to be found again. The screen fades to black, leaving the audience with awe, tension, and the subtle suggestion that the Clockwork City's mysteries are far from fully revealed.